Hello and welcome to the Limitless Podcast. This is Deanna Herron, your host. Welcome back. So glad to be with you today. If you are new to this podcast, I want to welcome you. This is your first podcast, this is a great first podcast. I am going to talk about how to find your limiting beliefs. And as we are in this new year, we're all setting goals. We're all looking for a fresh new start. And what a great way to start by really looking at, okay, what are some of the beliefs that are keeping me from doing what I want to do? We all have them. None of us are immune to limiting beliefs. Today's podcast is all about how you can find your beliefs. I'm going to give you some very basic techniques so that you can begin the process of becoming aware of what your subconscious mind is actually playing over and over. You see, if your subconscious mind is telling you you can't, or this is impossible, and you're not aware of it, what happens is you don't actually do the action. You will see procrastination come into play. You will see lack of motivation come into play. You will really have a hard time doing the action because your subconscious mind is telling you, you can't do this. And it's a belief that you formed probably as a child. Let's break this down. Beliefs, I want you to understand, are mental filters, and they filter the perspective through which we see the world. That's what beliefs are. And we have beliefs that are empowering beliefs, and those beliefs allow you to do things. And those are things that maybe you say, one of my beliefs I can tell you is I can actually learn anything. I can learn anything. I actually believe that I could be anything because I know that I can learn how to do it. That's an empowering belief. Most of us don't even recognize that we have some empowering beliefs. And when you have an empowering belief, and you do, there's about 5% of your beliefs that are empowering, 95% are limiting. When you have an empowering belief, you understand that there isn't a challenge that will come in your way that you can't overcome. You recognize that. That's your empowering belief. So we want more empowering beliefs more than we have limiting beliefs. So what I want you to understand is your limiting beliefs can change into an empowering belief. A limiting belief it actually takes many forms, but it prevents us from actually doing what we want to do. Sometimes it prevents us from actually taking that first step toward our goals. We just freeze because there's something that is telling us that we can't, we're not enough, we're not worthy. Who do you think you are? Things like that. So they all play out in our mind in different ways, depending on what the story is that you told yourself when that belief was formed. So beliefs they're filters, and they limit the view from which we can see. We can only see bits and pieces of our possibilities because of the limited beliefs. So think of it as a water filter. So a water filter, we have one here in our home, and a water filter will filter out certain things. And I'm hoping that they filter out heavy metals in our water here. And so it doesn't allow things to pass through the filter. This is exactly the human mind. The mental filter will prevent certain things from passing through. Depending on what your filter is, what that limiting belief is, it may prevent valuable, life-changing information from coming in. But it's also going to really challenge what you are able to do, because our beliefs cause our actions. So if you're believing something that is not true, your actions aren't going to be aligned with your goal unless your beliefs align with that goal. So how do those limiting beliefs, how are they formed? They're really formed they're created through a place of fear. So at some point in your life, you experienced fear of something. So maybe in your childhood, you had a fear of being abandoned. You were at school and your mom was 10 minutes late. And so you developed this fear of being abandoned. So every time somebody is late, you get ticked off or you get fearful in some way that they're not going to show up. Or maybe in your marriage, you fear that the person is not going to show up for you. So you have this fear of abandonment, and it plays out in all of our relationships. So limiting beliefs are formed through fear, and they prevent you from getting what you desire. So regardless of what it is, whether it's your goals, whether it is in your marriage, whether it's in your health, where it's in spirituality, this limiting belief is preventing you from actually achieving that. So right now, it's January. And when I went to the gym today, I got to meet a lot of new people at the gym. And I have been in this gym it's a new gym. I've been in this gym for probably 6 months, and I haven't seen some of these faces ever in the gym. But in January, everyone shows up in the gym. And do you know what happens? By the end of January, those new faces will likely not be there. Why? Why did they lose their motivation? Why did they stop coming? It's a belief. And it's a belief that is preventing them from getting what they truly desire. So, whatever it is that you want in life, a limiting belief is going to tell you that you can't do it. It won't work. You don't have what it takes. I'm not seeing the results right now, so this must not be for me. It's not working. Does that sound familiar? That can sound familiar, whether it's your health or whether it's your business, whether it's your marriage, whatever that is. It's not working. I'm not seeing the results. And this has such an impact, and we don't even realize that we're repeating the same patterns in every single relationship, trying to get better results, only to fall short time and time again. Those patterns just keep repeating. Why? Because the belief needs to be changed. And I'm going to tell you that it is really not your truth. If it's fear-based, it is not your truth. If you are a Bible reader, you will know fear not is a common theme in the Bible. Fear not. It is not real. It is not your truth. So this is the time of year that we start a new plan. We want to do better. I'm going to work harder. This is my year. We have a new excitement, a new energy. But what are you going to do about your beliefs? And I tell my clients time and time again, you don't have a work ethic problem. It's not a work ethic problem. You have a belief system that doesn't support your goals. That's all it is. And those beliefs need to align with what you want to create. So you can't overcome what you don't recognize. You can't overcome what you don't recognize. And in the last podcast, I really talked about the psychology of consciousness. That's episode 198. Go take a listen to that. I really talk about the beliefs and how you can awaken to recognize your beliefs. So limiting beliefs, they're going to take many different forms. And it really prevents many people from just taking that first step toward the goal. Our limiting beliefs, I've gone through this so many times, but just a brief overview. They're formed through our programming from our family. There are many familial patterns that will be passed down from generation to generation to generation. For example, being on welfare, that seems to be passed down generation to generation to generation. The belief that that's the only way to live. The belief that, our family is poor, is never wealthy, that can be passed on from generation to generation to generation. The belief that you have to go to college in order to be successful, that can be passed on from generation. So those are programs that are formed because of the family of origin. There's also programs that can be formed from society. Society teaches certain rules, right? And so we're born not to be free thinkers. And so a lot of this is programming. So, for example, if you have believed that wealthy people are rude because you had an experience when you were younger with a wealthy person who was very rude to you, that is going to be a belief that your subconscious mind will play over and over. So every time you see a wealthy person, you're believing that person is rude. And you're going to find that people are rude because that's what your subconscious is telling you. Wealthy people are rude. So you're going to find they must be wealthy. They have more money than me. They're rude. So that's how limiting beliefs are formed. Limiting beliefs are formed from a place of fear and from our programming. I want to help you discover some of your limiting beliefs. And this is one of the easiest ways I have found to really help my clients identify what their limiting beliefs are. So you can actually write down one thing that you have wanted to accomplish in the last 5 years. So write down something that you really wanted to accomplish in the last 5 years, but you were not able to achieve it. And then under that thing that you wanted to accomplish, just place, what you needed to do to accomplish that. What did you need to do? And then when you look at that thing that you wanted to accomplish, I want you to identify the things that you needed to do to accomplish that and the fear associated with the things that you needed to do. For example, as a coach, a business coach, there are many things that I'm doing in this business that I didn't do in my prior business. So I'm learning so many new things. As I walk through this process of coaching and of marketing and as learning those skills, there's some fear that pops up in learning something new. Now, I do believe I can learn anything. That doesn't mean it's not fearful to learn those things. So what would keep me from achieving the goals that I've set for my coaching business would be the fear of putting myself out on social media, the fear of investing in my business. Certain things like that would prevent me from actually achieving what I want to achieve. So where does that fear of putting myself out on social media come from? The fear comes from, what will people think? The fear comes from, what if people don't like what I have to say? What if I say something wrong? Whatever that is for you, you want to write down what you wanted to accomplish in the last 5 years. What were the things that you needed to do to accomplish the thing? And then when you look at the things that you needed to do to accomplish the thing, then start putting the fears to it. What was the fear behind me not doing that? And really listen to that in your mind. What was the fear? And then the fear, from that fear, you can say, well, I had a fear of putting myself out on social media. Why did I have a fear of putting myself out on social media? Well, I'm afraid of what people will think. Well, I'm afraid of what people will think. Where did that come from? Oh, I remember when I was in 4th grade, I got called out by my teacher in front of my entire class, and the kids made fun of me. Okay. Does that mean for the rest of my life that I need to be fearful of what people will think because of that one incident? No, it doesn't. Can I put myself out there? Can I release that belief that people aren't going to accept me? Can I understand that the people who are here for me are the ones that are going to be drawn for me? Yes. Okay. What would be a more empowering statement than, I'm afraid of what people will think? More empowering statement would be, people are going to talk, but I am free to be me. That would be a more empowering statement. So walk yourself through that process. It may take a few days, a few weeks for that belief to be uncovered. But when you feel and you experience that fear and you walk yourself back to the place of, okay, why am I afraid to do that? Okay, what's the story? Okay, where did the story begin? And you'll start to see that has been playing in your subconscious mind for years and years and years. And it's not your truth, my friend. It was just a circumstance, a situation, a person in your life that did something or said something or was you were involved in something and you chose to make up a story about yourself. If I use my voice, someone will make fun of me. And if someone makes fun of me, that means that I am not enough, whatever that story happens to be. Okay. So look at those areas where you are fearful. I want you to understand that your limiting beliefs are taking away your possibilities, your truest potential, your soul's purpose. And as you begin to clear those and those limiting beliefs are exposed, you can change them. So become the investigator. Become the investigator of what was it that you needed to do to achieve X, Y, and Z? And what was the fear? Why did you not do it? Uncover that belief, then you can uncover where it began. And now the change can begin to a more empowering statement. Thank you for joining me today. God bless you. I'll see you on the next podcast.